is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirts, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. We're going to talk about the Portland Trail Blazers. After the devastating injury to Jusuf Nurkic, they have found themselves in a situation where they don't have Nurkic and they do not have CJ McCollum. Their two best players after Damian Lillard have both went down going into the playoffs. This is the worst time to fall apart. This is the worst time for injuries. And it ended up happening all at the same time, which sucks because last year they was in a similar position when they was getting home court advantage. They surprised a lot of people. They've been consistent. They've been steady. They're a team that you have to respect. They're a team that if you don't pay attention, they can kill you. Obviously, losing Nurkic for the rest of the season in playoffs is just terrible. And worst case scenario, then on top of that, CJ just don't make it any better. They made the acquisition to get Rodney Hood, then they picked up Seth Curry and guys like Enes Kanter to really give this team more depth and give this team uh, more energy and more fight and more talent. They needed it to compete with the other teams in the West if they really wanted to make a deep, long run for the NBA championship or at least the NBA playoffs. Obviously, last year they finished and did better than a lot of people thought. Then they ended up getting swept. I think that we're going to have to see MVP Dame on this roster to get them to where they was last year. And if they want to hold on to that top four seed in the Western Conference, they're going to definitely have to depend on their rock, their foundation, and their franchise player, Damian Lillard. He's going to have to at least give them 30-plus points and 10 assists to keep everybody eating, keeping everybody involved by also taking over games in big moments, knocking down big shots, stopping runs, and just being a killer like he always has been. Throughout his career, but they're going to need more out of him. And I feel like he's been balancing and doing a better job lately of knowing when to score and knowing when to pass, and it has helped this team flow offensively, and this has helped this team stay afloat so far. And I think that that's the main key is what kind of Dame is we're going to get. Last year in the playoffs, he was getting a lot of double team, he was getting a lot of traps, and he really could never really figure it out, and it hurted them in the playoffs because they ended up getting swept. Yeah, some of the games was close, and some of the games could have went either way. But Dame is usually known as a closer in the games that he needs to take over and really leave his mark and stamp on if he really doesn't want to go home in the sweep. And they could just never get it going. He could never really find clean, good shots consistently against the Pelicans. And the Pelicans not even known as a great defensive team, but they guarded and matched up well against Portland. And obviously this year you lose Nurkic, but you do have a backup in this Kanter. But Kanter is a guy that teams like to bully, teams like to go at, and teams like to pick on him because he's a bad pick and roll defender. He doesn't know what he's doing half the time, even though he is a great offensive rebounder and a solid offensive player, especially for his age. He does have a deficiency, which is obviously defense. And Rodney Hood is a little streaky. He is an upgrade, but for their bench, but he is a little streaky, especially from creating his own shot and shooting a three. He can light you up. He can light it up from three. The next game he can lay it up from three, but he's better than nothing. And then you also got Seth Curry, who has been amazing for them coming off the bench, giving them a spark, giving them some energy, and giving them that floor spacing that they need. But his ball handling ability has been one of the more slept on things in his career, and he plays well and fits in well with what Portland tries to do. But I think when it's all said and done, we got to see what Dame is they're going to get. Is they going to get a Dame that just can't get it going? Is they going to get a Dame that can't really find ways to attack because now they can just hone in on him and focus on him because there is no Nurkic, there is no McCollum.
And I do want to see where they're going to finish. Is they going to be able to lock up that top four seed again, or is they going to fall all the way down to the sixth, seventh, or eighth spot and have a tough first round matchup and lose again? They only got a certain amount of time with this team. Dame is getting closer to 30 than he is to 21. So is CJ, and they have to figure out what they're going to do. Is they going to continue to try to run this back, or is they going to make other acquisitions to make them get better and a better chance at winning a championship? Obviously, you look at this roster and you see the improvement, you see the belief in the organization that they have in these two players in their backcourt. But you still have to think realistic. Can I really win a championship with this backcourt? They haven't really won much. They haven't really made a deep playoff run either. So it starts to get in the back of your mind, are they good enough? But I did feel like the owner and the general manager made good moves to make them have at least a chance to make a deep run this year. But obviously, with these two injuries, it really had derailed what they wanted to do, especially because Nurkic has really helped anchor their defense and really give them a dominant pick and roll player and rebounder. But to lose him and now you're forced to use Ennis Cantor, that ruins your depth and that forces you to have a guy that teams in the playoffs can pick on and give you a disadvantage. And it's all about matchups. It's all about X's and O's and changing the lineups to favor the matchup on the court. And I do feel like Terry Styles does a good job at that. But at the same time, now he's forced to use players more than he usually would because of these key injuries. And it's about how you finish. They started off pretty good. They had a smooth season. They still have proven to be one of the better teams in the Western Conference. They haven't missed the playoffs since Damian Lillard has been there. And, at the end of the day, that's impressive. But at the same time, they haven't really went that far, and they really haven't had a legitimate chance at a title. They continually get beat by Golden State. They lost to the Pelicans, and now I really want to see, since this might not work, if they get swept or if they lose in the first round again, what is going to be their mentality going into the next season? What's going to be their mentality going in to free agency and going into the draft? Do they feel like they got to make some substantial moves, or do they feel like they just got to stay pat and wait till the right pieces come around? Or is they going to try to make a move to make them even better, depending on what the Warriors do in free agency and other teams? It might be a team that's going to be better than Portland again. We might not even see Golden State at the top no more. But Portland still got to make moves to become a legitimate contender. I have personally felt like they have been a good team the last couple years, but they haven't been a great championship team the last couple years. And eventually, they're going to either have to go all in, or they're just going to have to, rebuild. But it's not time for that right now. But it's going to be something in the back of their mind. Do we have enough? We've seen LaMarcus, Wesley Matthews, and obviously Dame not work. And even before then, they was a good team, but they never was a championship team. And that's where they at right now with this Blazer team. Again, they're good enough to make the playoffs, but not great enough to win it all. Um, and that's the part that's unfortunate. But they ended up finding themselves in the same situation 10 years ago, 10 years later in the same situation now. Um, it is mainly because most free agents don't want to go to Portland. It is mainly because most superstar players don't want to play in Portland. They're fortunate to have LaMarcus and Dame, players that was drafted and wanted to stay there for a while. And now that Dame has damn near lived out his contract, that's something that they're going to have to be prepared for, because Dame can actually leave, and so could CJ. Obviously, they locked up Nurkic long term, but they still have to figure out what they're going to do with Dame and CJ, because they're getting closer to the end of their contracts, and they can literally leave and go wherever they want if they're not traded, which is unfortunate because this team eventually either going to break up, or they're going to have to start trading pieces to go in a different direction, but it's reality. So I really don't know what's going to happen with this Portland team. I really don't know if they can win you a championship. I don't really know what they're going to do in the future if they lose in the first round again, or they drop to the eighth seed or the seventh seed and get put out or swept. Obviously, injuries are an ugly part of the game. We wish no injuries on nobody, but we're going to have to see a different type of Dame. Is he going to take over while keeping his teammates involved? Will he trust in his teammates to step up, or will he just, give up? We have to see. Um, And it's unfortunate that these things happen at the end of the year when it's going into playoff time. You want to go into the playoffs healthy, but instead Portland is going out the wrong direction. So let me know what you guys think. Will Portland have to break up this duo? Is Nurkic injury gonna cost them their first round matchup and put them out? Do you think it don't matter as long as they get CJ back there and be able to get out of the first round, or do you think they're gonna lose in the first round even with CJ, which they did last year? Or do you think that they're done because they don't have CJ or Dave? I mean CJ or Nurkic. Or do you think this team is fine? They got a couple more years in a prime, keep it together and see what happens, or do you think that they should make a move to break up this duo and try to go in a different direction, whether it's rebuilding or going for a high profile player? We don't know how Nurkic is going to come back because he ended up having a devastating injury. We don't know how he's going to be. We don't know how he's going to come back next year. And that do suck because now you're getting closer for CJ and Dame to be over. And that's the unfortunate part because at the end of the day, your two best players can leave you for nothing, which we have seen people like Kevin Durant do and LeBron do. You don't want to lose your franchise player and get nothing in return, especially when you depend on them a lot. And they can also send you to a rebuild mode, which you never know when you're going to get a franchise player again. So check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that been buying merchandise. Thanks for everybody that been liking on Facebook. And thanks for everybody that been checking out my content. I do videos, discussion just like this. Trade deadline, buyouts, free agency, NBA draft, NBA breakdowns, NBA tributes to the legend. I cover all things NBA. I try to go every day. Thanks for watching. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm out. Let me know what you guys think about the Portland Trailblazers.